Hi, I'm Bob Wells, and I'd like to welcome you to the Get Real Show, sponsored by Keystone Partners Group, the show that dispels the myth and the mystery behind success in the real estate industry. Today, I'm very excited to have as my guest, Fred DiLorenzo. Fred?
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. And I've been really looking forward to speaking with you for a couple of reasons, Fred. Number one, you are a very high producing agent that thus far is doing it with very little leverage. So you're a pretty busy guy, especially second, thank you for being with us. And secondly, because you also have been involved in the launch of a Keystone Partners Group company in Clinton, New Jersey, which is our most recent endeavor. So it'll be exciting to hear about your experiences there.
Great. Yeah. Again, I am doing my business mostly by myself right now. I do have a virtual assistant, and I have an add-in for my first assistant. So I'm going to grow that business.
Okay. First full-time assistant.
For a full-time assistant, my first hire, which hopefully there's many more along the line.
Sure.
And yes, I came to KPG to launch the Clinton, New Jersey office. I was one of the first, I think maybe the third or fourth person. Actually sat in the Bethlehem, Pennsylvania office in November 2014 and did my New Jersey business from there until August 6th of 2015. So did a lot of business in New Jersey. Also, I do have my Pennsylvania license. So it was great because I had Bethlehem and New Jersey for my business was going to Clinton.
Sure.
So it was an exciting time, still kept my business going, booming, learned a lot from the people at the Bethlehem office because it is the number one office in the area.
Very dominant.
Very dominant, yeah. So it was great to see how it operated.
So tell me, 2015, to give our viewers kind of an idea about what your volume and units were in 2015. What did that look like?
So in 2015, I ended up the year, I think it was around $6 million in gross. A little over $6 million, maybe $7 million.
Okay. How many units is that?
I think it turned out to be somewhere with 28, 29 units.
Average sale price of about
$350,000. I say it's a fair number.
So
it was a good year.
Good average sale price.
It was a good year. Yeah, it's a good. New Jersey's a little bit higher than it is in Pennsylvania, especially in that Clinton area. So it is a little higher, but yeah, it was a good year for me. Doing the transition from another company to KPG, it was. I didn't really lose much ground. If you want to go back in a transition year, if you go back to 2014, I was right around that same number.
How's 2016 looking for you? Your projection for volume and units in 2016?
I'm at 27 transactions now and over just about $11 million.
Wow. So you made a big jump.
Yeah, I think I talked to my team leader. I think she's told me I was like 200% over what I did last year. So it's an incredible journey, really, to get there. And there's so much more to grow in the company.
Yeah, just on the cusp of leverage.
Just on the cusp of leverage, just coming back from Mega Camp and excited about building that team because you just hear so much about the mega agents that do have full teams and how great their lives are. So I want to get there.
Yeah. Tell me some of the things that you brought back from Mega Camp that were really kind of ahas for you.
You always hear, you read the Red Book, which is a great read, just about real estate in general. But you read it and you hear about what leverage does for you. But when you actually see people on stage, just like you are, and they are doing millions of dollars in gross revenue.
Yeah, commission income.
Yeah. And how they do it. And really, if you do it the way the model says to do it, it works.
Yeah.
It works. And it was just amazing. You know, you always think, yeah, it will work, but when you see people that actually did it and they talk about it, it just gives you it's so powerful.
Yeah. Gives you some faith in the fact that this actually works.
This happens.
Right? People are actually doing it.
And they're there for you to talk to them. You can tap them on the shoulder and they'll tell you. I mean, it's not like they're on stage and you're in the audience and you don't interact with them. They're real people that are right out there with you.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was pretty amazing.
So, how long have you been in real estate? Did you start 2 years ago, or?
No, I started. Actually, my first career was with AT&T. I was a district AT&T. I was a district manager for them for 23 years. Mm-hmm. So with AT&T, as most people know, they went through a lot of changes.
Yeah, lots.
So I was actually unfortunate, and I was in the residential side of AT&T, which we know most people don't have telephones in their house anymore.
Yeah.
So back in 2002, around 2002, they were closing down divisions, and they were just, it was horrible. My job was probably to fire all the people that I came up to, the ranks with. Oh. So, it started with, what they call the fat of the company, and then I was talking to one of my better friends and said, look, I gotta let you go from your $100,000 a year job. So life was pretty bad at that time.
Yeah.
I was lucky, though. I went to get a real estate license in 2002, 3, I think it was 3. And just because all this was happening. So I was doing it part-time, and I was still working at AT&T full-time. It's kind of challenging because I'd be in a boardroom trying to talk to 200 people, and my phone would be ringing, customers from real estate. So
you were an executive with AT&T.
I was an executive. Yeah, exactly. I had like 100 people reporting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At the time I left the company. So 2004, they had an early retirement, and they offered me a position. They were closing down my division. They offered me a position as a project manager. Mm-hmm. And I said at that point, it's 2004. The market is great. Making a lot of money part-time in real estate. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And I left and never looked back. My passion is for real estate. I love what I do. Mm-hmm. So I never really looked back. Although my children, I think probably 5 or 6 years later, said to me, Dad, what is wrong with you? Why did you leave that 6-week vacation job to work 7 days a week? And
sure.
I said to them, just wait. Just wait a couple more years. You're going to be happy I did that. So I think I'm getting to that point now where they're starting to see, not only financially, but just how I changed as a person since joining this company.
Sure. Yeah. Which is arguably just as important as the finance or more.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So you left AT&T and what was your criteria for selecting a company? Because you get your license, right? And at that point, what were you thinking was most important about associating? Because who you're in business with really matters.
Yeah. So initially, when I was part-time, I said, I don't want to go to a big company because I was afraid that they'd ask too much of me, and I had a full-time job at AT&T. Mm-hmm. So I went to a small mom-and-pop company in Flemington, New Jersey, which they had maybe seven agents in the building. Mm-hmm. So I remember I was there a couple of weeks, and I did floor time, and I'm sitting there on a Saturday afternoon, and the phone didn't ring at all. So,
what am I doing here?
It didn't take me long to say, what, this is wasting my time. I'm much too productive to sit here on a Saturday afternoon. I had young children at the time, and not make any money.
Yeah.
So I left, and I went to the dominant real estate agent in the Clinton area who was doing all the business at the time, and that's where I went because I want the action. So I spent my next 7 years, 8 years there.
Mm-hmm. So that selection was based on the fact that they were visible and productive, and anything else that was appealing to you at that time?
No, they were, for someone that was new in real estate, they were number one in the county. So in my presentations, I couldn't say I did 200 sales. So I would say, well, my office is number
company
one.
Did. Yeah, you could lean on the success of your company. Absolutely. Yeah. And so eventually, you were put into the presence of people from KPG. So how did that work? How did that happen? How did you learn about us?
So this is how it went. I worked with this company for 8 years, and I realized that they were getting all my leads. I was really just making money for this company, and I wasn't making the money. I was, a lot of it was just going back to the company. And I heard of other companies that, you kind of owned your own business within a company. It wasn't, working for a company.
Let me stop you there, if you could excuse me. Tell me about the lead situation and why that was important to you. How did it work, and how did you want it to work?
All right, so in the company that I worked in, they would have two avenues for leads. One would be they'd come into the office where they'd have 4 or 5 people working desk. Mm-hmm. Now, the people that worked desk were just mostly people that didn't do business and nothing wrong with that. It's just that was how they made their income, right? Mm-hmm. So if I had a listing and they didn't ask for me, they had to say Fred DiLorenzo's listing. If they didn't do that, it would go to someone on desk. Right. So that's how those leads came in. If they said, I'm calling because I'm looking at Fred DiLorenzo's listing, then they supposedly would get me the call.
And what's the value of a lead? What if it doesn't go to you, what did you just lose?
I just lost, possibly a sale.
Which equates to average sale price of $300,000.
$350,000.
If you're a capped agent, you keep